How y'all doing? My name is Nova. Y'all know me. Supernova_poetry. It's so weird performing for small rooms. Makes me so nervous. Cause y'all all up in y'all close. It's so silly. But I'm gonna do this like we in a big auditorium because it's gonna make me happy. They say there's a thin line between crazy and genius. That we tiptoe around this line when we fall in love. It is 3 a.m. My boyfriend lays beside me face up, asleep. His phone lays beside me face up with no password. Lit up with a text message from someone that I have not yet met. My anxiety wakes up, and she has the best memory. Can recall names, dates, times, events that my heart have no memory of, because to forgive an indiscretion is to forget the hurt ever happened. But anxiety rolls back the hands of time to the last time my ex lied to me about a text message. How his eyes flew across the room and landed on the nearest scapegoat. Called me untrustworthy after he sent my heart to voicemail, and I knew I wasn't genius. But I know I wasn't crazy when the butterflies in my stomach turned to stone, said it's gonna happen again. And the only way to stop it is to always be around, to go with him on those late night runs to the store, to read back his text message and send out accusations, knowing that text message is gonna turn into phone calls he gotta leave the room for. A password on all his apps when he left me on red, abandoned in his inbox. My anxiety would be there to pick up all the broken pieces. Create a block list for all my emotions, but I know I'm not crazy, because the last time he said he was honest with me, that he only sought out other women because there wasn't enough of me to go around. Like I didn't stretch myself to be in 2 damn cities at the same damn time, then drove over 1,000 miles, and my anxiety kept a log of how many phone calls before the phone stopped ringing. Before the numbers between us changed. Now I know I'm not a genius, but I know I'm not crazy, because I already know the words that will come over from his well of good intentions. How you always find trouble when you go looking for it, and nothing good ever came from reading a text message out of context. But anxiety dons the hat of intuition and pulls me closer to that cell phone beside me, reminds me of all the heartache she saved me from. How she stopped me from dying over that text message, or how likes on Instagram go into explaining to why she is in your bed. And I know I'm not a genius. I'm not crazy for seeing the pattern. The short breaths and sleepless nights, waking up drenched in loneliness, having nightmares about his daydreams, checking his phone while he's in the bathroom because the thought of playing the fool again placed anxiety on my lock screen. As my boyfriend wakes up, I wonder which side of the line I will be on tomorrow. Will anxiety remind me how I should have listened when my heart is breaking? Or for once, will someone prove her wrong? Y'all can clap, but fuck that nigga. My anxiety is always right. I feel so inspired. I be wanting to do new poems. Can y'all say? Like shit of the new, like that's what I do. So I have been working on this poem for all of the Black women who struggle with infertility. We don't like talking about this. We get told every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every time I go home, I gotta hear something about when they gonna get some grandbabies. And I'd be like, probably never. So it's Mother's Day. And I'm told perhaps maybe next year will be the year that I get to celebrate. Maybe next year God will see it fit to bless me with a child of my own, and I smile, knowing there are 6.1 million women who have to face this day the same way. Beg our eyes to hold steady. Don't let them know that each mistaken congratulation feels like a samurai blade cutting across my midsection. I wish I could C-section out my uselessness. How society only wants me when I can bring life into this world, cares not if I am still here, requires a reason for each time my body has failed to bring a child to term. I'm tired of daydreaming of pastel-colored rooms with empty cribs. Faceless children running towards me who know my name. I know today is when we celebrate women who are strong enough to be called mom, and put the ones who can't be mothers in a closet, Tell us we have nothing to be proud for, that we cry for memories that we will never have, and that isn't enough. You have to remind us of all that we get to lose. I would give 30 pieces of silver just to say that I'm pregnant, that I'll get to be a mom someday. But the bitter pill to swallow is that it might not happen, that it might all just be a fever dream, one that wakes me up in the night reaching for things beyond my grasp. I hold my nieces and nephews tightly, knowing this is the closest I will ever come to being a mom, and that maybe I'll have to settle for this misplaced consolation prize, to be the aunt who never gives them a cousin, not because I don't want to, but because this body becomes a ticking time bomb whenever the possibility of a baby becomes real. I can hear that clock growing louder every year, ticking away at the little bit of my sanity I have left, and I say, no, thank you, but I'm not a mother. My feelings. Since we in my feelings, we might as well talk about family stuff. I wrote this poem, and I feel like I got it memorized. We gonna try, but if I mess up, y'all better love me regardless and follow me at supernova_poetry anyway. Dang. That Tigers, I'll be working. So, my family are grave diggers. We bury secrets in the family plot. Post up warning sign that what's buried here has no place on the tongues of the living. We navigate conversation by walking around gravestone. Understand ain't nothing holy about trauma, so each pile of dirt goes unmarked. I know the first time my cousin hugged me too hard and my father said it's because he misses me. He was handing me a shovel, taught me how to dig a hole 3 feet by 8. Make sure I dig it deep enough that the words don't rise to the topsoil. By the time I was 13, they said I was a natural at it. Started calling me a shy child, a flower, sunk in freshly moved soil, the hole they placed me in too big to be filled. And I can't remember the last time we spoke of the dead, or how my uncle's death left secrets that still claw at our ankles. My tongue buries its head in my mouth before it ostracizes me from my family. Has been taught to only speak on topics above ground. Don't want to go shifting through this dirt looking for healing. Ain't no pot of gold at the end of these rainbows, just another hole with words we leave unsaid, so we keep digging. Hoping on the outside this graveyard becomes a garden. Forgetting that death got a smell that lingers. No matter how many flowers you plant here, it will not yield anything but rot when trauma doesn't decompose the same way a body does. Never stays buried too long. Always rises to topsoil. Say my depression died after I spoke about it the 3rd time. My sister handed me a shovel after burying her sexuality 6 feet deep. My father placing flowers at the graveside of his ADHD, hoping for once the symptoms don't rise to the topsoil. Don't come back to walk amongst our conversation like the living dead, so we keep digging. Keep shifting through dirt like the hole won't ever be big enough until one of us lands in it.
That's good.
I know, right?
Good.
I mean, sometimes I be writing because I be writing.
I haven't heard that one. That's good.
That's the measure. That's crazy, yo. I know you've heard this next one, but I really have to talk about it because I teach our youth about poetry and how poetry leads to different thoughts and different actions. And there was a court case currently in Tarrant County that I don't see enough attention about a 28-year-old black woman who was shot in her own home during a wellness check. So I did what everybody do. You know, I go ahead and get high, but, you know. So I'm high as fuck on this camping trip, right? Like the type of high where you thinking thoughts out loud and you forget they call that shit talking type high. Letting the words of the night blend into each other. The party starts to fade into crickets and cicadas. The laughter gets swallowed up by some nearby creek and a choir of voices singing some random trap song that's been watered down for the unmelanated folk. And we get to that part in the song where white folks in the woods say the word nigga. And as if the word had whipped my sleep is now tainted in the night, feels like it should be raging, should be a campfire that can't be put out, a riot that doesn't end when the morning comes, a body that never finds rest under a tree, too busy being put into one. Swinging low enough to be strange, fruitsy nigga. Reminds me the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And ain't black bodies the juiciest America has ever been. And you know, I should go over there and remind them of the lashes my skin carries because of that word. Or how those lashes got there, how they turned into lynchings, how they turned into bullets, marking me unsafe. Remind me I can't be safe at a coffee shop, at a Walmart, at a gas station, on a bus, on a train, in my car, in my home. Can I still be safe if I cannot escape being a nigga? If my blackness can be used against me this way to remind me of why I'm not in the city right now. Because the weight of being a black woman became too heavy. A metal bar pressed into my chest, pushing me into the floorboards, and I want to blame it on the depression. I want to blame it on all the loss I feel or on anything except for the fact that I am black with no way to escape it when a 28-year-old woman can be shot in her own home during a wellness check. Or police officers can fire bullets through your front door without warning. Or a black woman can be handcuffed on the street in front of her toddler. Reminds me of Mary Turner being lynched for screaming for justice after the crowd lynched her husband. Reminds me, folks, of people have come to see black women like me before, but last time it wasn't on a stage, y'all, but a tree, kind of like the one I've been laying under. And my mind begins to wonder, does safety ever wear a black face? Is justice a lesson never learned in America? If being high can't take my mind off of being black, will the thought ever not scare me? So I'm like real black, like Monday through Sunday I be black, and then I be coming back black again. So my reincarnation gonna be black. So I have no idea how much time I have left. So I'm gonna just keep going until he tell me something. I could run. Oh, Jesus, never. I have this poem that's been sitting on my chest because sometimes people believe that they are better than you in the things that you excel at, and they will try to dim your light, no matter who they are. And sometimes they hide in plain sight. Like we seeing with Megan Thee Stallion, her enemies were literally in that same car with her. And if you got a problem with me saying that, unfollow me, but follow me back later. So I wrote this poem because I had to get this shit off my chest. When the white girl thinks she's a better poet than me, because I keep things simple. Because it don't take a dictionary and thesaurus to understand what I said. I know they say you're only as good as your last poem, but you're only as good as the last tongue you split. How my kindness has been seen as a greeting to your colonial pen when you twist my ideas to fit them into your pretty syntax. How my anger gave way for your revolution. I'm sure my bones are tired of standing strong for the both of us. How long do you think you can play ventriloquist to my trauma? Post up Black Lives Matter hashtags and pretend that you mean it. Pretend your love for my people don't stop when we remind you of where you come from. Smallpox and hypocrisy. Victimhood and internalized misogyny. The reason why 47% of women who, like you, voted for your own rights to be given away. That means you have a disinterest in investing in the well-being of people that you see as your equals or your lessers. While 98% of women who voted like me for our future. Meaning we believe in ensuring opportunities for the less fortunate as well as the ones who don't look like us, or perhaps you need a metaphor to understand it better. For decades, America has been a boat rocked too hard by racism. While patriarchy pokes holes in the side, Black people have become masters of balancing out the unease, forgiving the water thrown in our faces from every whitewater savior that passes into these spaces, thinking we must be thirsty, must need your water. You get it now? How you overstepped into a lion's den and forgot how a toothpick your opinion can be. I should name this poem, Bitch, You Got Me Fucked Up, but you done more than that. You've taken your privilege and stepped into the wrong poetry venue. And I am here to remind you that 1, this stage is not a place for you to hide your prejudice and your metaphors. 2, Next time you choose to bring division into my community while using your whiteness as a stepping stool, that God around here is black and won't be answering any voicemails from you. 3, none of your poems are about you or for you. So understand your opinion is just like your black friends. They only exist when you're trying to cover up your shortcomings. Now that I have taken out the trash, let me get back to real poems. That's the... I feel like I'm coming to my end because that was a big one. That was a big one. And I always say I'm not going to do this poem, and then I end up doing this poem because I like this poem. So, sue me. This last piece, and then I'm going to get out y'all way, it's called Dragonfly. I have a book. It's only $10. Only $10.
Only $10.
You can't afford
not to buy it.
And if you have a copy, you should just buy a second one, because... yeah, I got bills. But I love this poem secretly. Hate this poem, but I love this poem. So the female Moreland Hawker dragonfly is known to avoid sexual interaction by faking her own death. When confronted with the male she has no intentions on mating with, will stop beating her wings, allows for her body to fall to the ground, stays as still as possible until he has left or she can make her escape without violent altercation, oftentimes risking real death to avoid attention. The first time I faked my death, I was 10. He spotted me, flying across a playground, saw my body as more than child saw mate. I did not notice his hands until they were already on me. I froze, wondered what would drop first, my body or his hands. When he finally let go, I realized I was 2 feet off the ground, almost another dead thing. When I was 13, at a parade, a man old enough to be my father asking questions. Where was his hug? When was I gonna let him come over? Show me what a real man can do. I froze, hoping if I am a dead thing, he'd stop undressing me with his eyes. Had my friends not been there to carry me away, I'm sure I would still be there playing dead. In 15, at a football game, I try to stop my wings from beating. At 16, my ex shows me what happens when you do not fly fast enough. 21, 4 random male dragonflies try to break me and my friend apart in the crowd. Ripping the wings off of our backs to force attraction, we scream to the top of our lungs and help never comes. 25, the words "I have a boyfriend" come out my mouth. He says, faking dead won't save you this time. And I'm 30, and I'm so tired of cheating death. My body doesn't know the difference between dying and protecting myself. Slowing down my breathing to stop my heart, hoping I don't fall too far this time. That my life won't be snuffed out because I told him no, because rejection has a funny way of always leading to death. You freeze too long, you don't land on soft grass but concrete, so most days I try to fly as fast as my wings can carry me at the speed of sound. So when the word no leaves my lips, men know they cannot catch me, that I will dive head first to protect myself, even if I gotta bite, claw, die to do so, that the roles of predator and prey might be reversed, that I wish I was more dragon than fly, more burning fire than blade of grass, that I might be a wasp in disguise as something sweet. And for once, I wish someone would teach men you do not need to own every beautiful dragonfly you see. You do not need to own me to know my worth. You just have to watch me fly. Thank you.
Yeah.